Scorpio, something in your life is already shifting while you listen to this, and when it finally arrives, it will not just change your circumstances, it will touch your heart so deeply that the only honest response will be tears of pure joy. This isn't drama, it's recognition. You have been pushing through days where your smile felt heavier than your silence, holding yourself together when it would have been so much easier to give up, whispering small prayers into dark rooms and wondering if anyone anywhere was truly listening. You did not just stumble onto this message because you were bored or scrolling. On some level, you asked to be shown a sign that your pain had a purpose, that your waiting wasn't wasted, that a life-changing miracle could really be meant for you too, and not only for everyone else. In the quiet space between one decision and the next, between one breath and the next, an opening has been forming around you, an invisible doorway where old timelines fall away and a new path begins to glow at the edges. This is the energy you're stepping into now. Not a random stroke of luck, but a sacred moment where your inner work and divine timing finally meet each other in the middle. Deep down, you felt it, like a soft pressure in your chest, like the feeling right before the first raindrop falls. Something is coming, something is different, something is about to break in your favor. You have always carried more than you show, Scorpio. You're the one who sits up late, replaying conversations in your mind, wondering if you could have loved better, forgiven faster, let go earlier, trusted more deeply. You've walked through seasons where your heart was loyal to people and places that were never truly loyal back, where you gave second and third chances to stories that had already ended. You've known what it feels like to celebrate others while your own soul was starving for even a small confirmation that you weren't invisible to the universe. Yet through all of that, you did something most people don't see. You kept a tiny ember of faith alive. You got out of bed on mornings when hope felt thin. You kept showing up to responsibilities when all you wanted was to disappear. You kept believing, even if only 1%, that life could not possibly be this cruel without something beautiful, somewhere, being prepared for you. That is why this energy is gathering now. You didn't earn a miracle by being perfect. You aligned with one by not letting your heart rot into bitterness. And somewhere between your tears and your resilience, your spirit quietly said, "I still choose light," and the universe heard you. The good news that is forming for you is not a consolation prize. It is a response to every moment you chose to keep loving in a world that didn't always love you back. Energetically, you're entering a period where the fog starts to thin and you begin to see the outline of what's coming. It may start small, a message you weren't expecting, an invitation that feels oddly significant, a conversation that opens a surprising door, a dream so vivid you wake up with the sense that something has already shifted. These are not coincidences. They're gentle knocks from destiny. In the sky, the story is one of grounding and grace weaving together. Imagine the stabilizing force of Saturn supporting you from beneath, whispering, "You are ready to build differently now," while the softness of Venus reminds you that stability doesn't have to be cold. It can be loving, beautiful, and emotionally safe. The sun shines on the parts of your life that can finally grow after months or years of feeling stuck in shadow. That combination does something powerful inside you. It stops you from running on anxiety and helps you move from clarity instead. Decisions you've avoided suddenly feel simpler. Boundaries that felt terrifying to set now feel non-negotiable. You might find yourself saying, "no more," with a calm you didn't know you possessed, And that quiet no will be one of the most miraculous turning points of your life. Because every time you stop agreeing to what drains you, you create room for what is meant to bless you. The tarot energy around you reflects this same shift from survival to blessing. The sun appears as a reminder that your light was never extinguished. It was only covered. You are being guided back to a version of yourself that remembers joy is not a luxury, but a birthright. Paired with the Emperor, this light doesn't make you reckless, it makes you sovereign. You begin to feel like the architect of your future instead of a passenger in someone else's story. Then the Ace of Pentacles shows up like a seed placed in your hands by unseen forces, an opportunity with real substance. This could be a new job that finally respects your worth, a financial chance that feels strangely tailor-made, a fresh project or idea that has the potential to change your long-term stability. It won't look like a lottery ticket falling from the sky. It will look like a door that opens at the exact moment you are finally strong enough to walk through it. At the same time, the Two of Cups hums quietly in the background, speaking to the possibility of a heart-level connection returning or arriving, not as a distraction, but as a mirror of your healing. This is energy that says, here is someone who can meet you where you are now, in your truth, not in your old wounds. And then, like a drumbeat underneath it all, the Wheel of Fortune turns, accompanied by the Nine of Cups, the card of heartfelt wishes fulfilled. The wheel doesn't spin because you begged it to. It turns because the cycle is complete. The prayers you whispered when nobody knew you were falling apart have been gathering force, and now they are circling back, not as fantasy, but as opportunities, breakthroughs, and moments that feel like the universe finally saying, I did not forget you. You might start seeing repeating numbers more often, 8, 11, 88, 11, 11, 22, 22. As if the fabric of reality itself is trying to tap you on the shoulder. The number 8 carries the energy of return, the loop of karma, the reminder that what you sow in integrity eventually finds its way home. You planted kindness when you could have chosen cruelty. You walked away instead of retaliating. You kept your hands clean when you could have played dirty. That doesn't mean you were perfect. It means you were willing to grow. The number 11 is the threshold, the open doorway between your old story and your new one, the whisper that says, you are standing on sacred ground. Pay attention. When these signs appear, they're not meant to make you obsessive. They're meant to remind you that there is order in the seeming chaos, and that your life is not just a string of random accidents. Still, numbers and cards and planets are only part of the conversation. The real miracle begins when you participate in the energy you claim to believe in. The law of attraction may talk about calling things in, but the law of alignment asks you to live as if you are already worthy of receiving them. That means answering emails as someone who believes they deserve good news. It means caring for your body as if your future matters. It means speaking to yourself in the tone you wish the world would use with you. Every small choice becomes an echo that tells the universe, yes, I am ready to hold something better. For many Scorpios, the big good news arriving can show up in multiple layers at once. On a practical level, you may find that a financial offer appears just when you thought you had run out of options. An approval, a contract, a raise, a collaboration, or a new stream of income that feels like an answer to a conversation you've been having with the divine in secret. It might not instantly solve every problem, but it will feel like a lifeline, a clear sign that life is willing to support you as you move forward. On an emotional level, You could experience a reconciliation, not necessarily a romantic reunion, but a clearing of the air that lets you finally release old pain with someone important. Even if the outcome is not a traditional, happy ending, the healing will be real. An apology you never expected, a truth that sets you free, a conversation that allows you to grieve what was and bless what will never be. There may also be a quieter, more intimate miracle, the day you wake up and for the first time in a long while, your chest doesn't feel heavy. The moment you realize you laughed without forcing it. The sudden awareness that you're no longer obsessing over the thing that used to keep you up at night. These are miracles too, the invisible ones that no one posts about, but that completely reroute the course of a life. Spiritually, you are entering a chapter of restoration. You've known the valley, you've tasted the darkness, you've walked through nights where your only prayer was, "Help me make it to morning." And yet somewhere deeper than your fear, a promise has always been beating, that your story was not meant to end in loss, that there was a plan for your life that included hope, future, provision, and peace. You don't have to belong to any particular religion to feel that. Your soul recognizes it as truth. The divine does not play with your heart for entertainment. The delays were not punishment, they were preparation. Some doors stayed shut because the room behind them wasn't worthy of the version of you that was emerging. Some people were removed, not because you were unlovable, but because they would have mishandled the blessing that is now headed your way. In the same way, the moon does not rush through her phases. You were never meant to rush your healing. Now, as this miracle energy gathers, you are being asked to do something surprisingly difficult. Soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders drop. Let your heart consider the possibility that this time, the good news is really for you. So how do you receive something this big without sabotaging it at the door? You start in the smallest way, by breathing on purpose. Place your hand over your heart and inhale as if you're welcoming warmth into your body. Imagine a soft golden light filling your chest, spreading into your arms, your throat, your back. With every exhale, imagine old stories draining out of you. I always get disappointed. Good things don't last. Love isn't safe. Money always slips away. You don't have to fix every belief in one day. You just have to stop feeding the ones that keep you locked in fear. When the opportunity shows up, answer the email. When the person reaches out, listen with open curiosity instead of rehearsed defense. When the idea lights up your mind, write it down, even if you're scared. Remember, the miracle is not only the event that changes your life, it's the way you let yourself change in response to it. Your tears of joy will come not only from what arrives, but from the realization that you finally allowed yourself to be loved by life instead of constantly bracing for the next blow. Scorpio, this whole message is not a rigid prediction that locks your future in place. It's more like a sacred story laid out in front of you, a symbolic map of what becomes possible when your inner world and outer circumstances begin to harmonize. Think of it as a mirror held up to your potential, a gentle exploration of one powerful timeline that your soul can choose to step into. If what you've heard so far wakes something up inside you, if it makes your intuition nod quietly and your heart say, "Yes, this feels like me," then keep the parts that resonate close and let them guide your next choices. If some details don't fit, you are free to let them drift away like passing clouds, because not every message is meant for every Scorpio in the same way. This is a spiritual reflection, a kind of living parable for the soul, meant to inspire, to comfort, and to remind you of your own power to co-create change with the divine, not a guarantee of any specific event. Your free will, your discernment, and your practical decisions still matter more than any reading or story ever could. As you stand here, at this doorway between what has been and what can be, I want you to feel the weight of your own courage. You did not break, you bent. You did not disappear, you transformed. You did not lose your magic, you buried it for safekeeping until it was finally safe to shine again. That time is arriving. The miracle coming toward you may wear many faces: money that eases an old burden, love that feels like a home you don't have to shrink inside, healing that finally lets your nervous system unclench, or a deep inner peace that no external storm can take away. Whatever its form, it will carry the unmistakable signature of alignment. It will not ask you to betray yourself to keep it. When it knocks, I want you to answer. I want you to let yourself cry if you need to. I want you to whisper, even if your voice shakes, I receive this. I am worthy of this. I am ready for this. If this message has echoed something you already felt but couldn't quite name, anchor it now by typing in the comments, I welcome my life-changing miracle, and I am ready to cry tears of joy. Let those words be your quiet contract with the universe, your way of stepping through the threshold with intention. And as you move forward, remember, you are not walking alone. Divine timing is not late. Your heart is not forgotten. And the chapter you are about to enter is written in a language your soul has been waiting its whole life to finally understand.